evolution of the Quentin Tarantino movie. Quentin Tarantino, the master scriptwriter.
If you get stopped by a cop in Amsterdam, it's illegal for them to search you.
The legend director. Lover of all things gore and ultra-violence. Tad obsession with feet. Great person to watch being interviewed. He's wacky, lovable Tarantino. He's been making your favourite movies for the last 30 years. Before we kick things off, if you are a movie lover, come and like my Facebook page for my movie specials on my radio shows. We have done a Kill Bill special, Pulp Fiction special, From Dusk Till Dawn, and a Reservoir Dogs special, which was so much fun. You might like it. Follow me on Twitter if Facebook isn't your thing, to keep up to date with my videos and shows. Links should be just below this video as well. Lovebirds in Bondage, 1983. Oh, kinky. His first taste of movies. A 1983 unfinished film by Tarantino. Tarantino would star, co-write and co-direct this black comedy about a girl who suffered from brain damage after a car accident, had to be institutionalised due to her erratic behaviour. Heartbroken, her devoted boyfriend makes the decision to get himself admitted so he can be close to her. I do like the sound of that, actually. It interests me anyway. And, you know, the cast never grew beyond Tarantino and the film was abandoned. But with a lot of directors, particularly their first one, it's always like a college assignment or something that's always a bit rough. But I'd like it to be, you know, done now. That'd be incredible. 4 years later, My Best Friend's Birthday, 1987, Tarantino's debut film, it's often called. It's Mickey's birthday, and his girlfriend just left him. That's when his friend Clarence shows him a birthday he'll never forget. Tarantino plays Clarence Poole, an irreverent DJ, my type of guy, who doesn't do requests. That's his big thing, doesn't do requests. Loves all things TV, music and films. Typical bloke, really. There's drug taking like you expect, but it's just really enjoyable. It's an enjoyable short film, and it's really fun. I love the music, you know, Sweet, Ballroom Blitz, Nadine by Chuck Berry. Chuck Berry would be a big influence later on because he would remind us all of the wonderful song You Never Can Tell, which is played, and it should picture us of John Travolta and Uma Thurman dancing in Pulp Fiction. We get to start to see the early glimpses of realism in his scripts and with his dialogue in this. We even have this food talk he likes to incorporate in his scripts, as we know. The stars in the film, only a few. The Conversation and Beverly Hills Cop 2's Alan Garfield. Brenda Hillhouse, who does pop up in Pulp Fiction and From Dusk Till Dawn. I'll show you a picture here. His actor credit was next. In 1998, he popped up in the Golden Girls TV series as an Elvis impersonator in Sophie's Wedding Part 1. 1992, here we go, 1992, Reservoir Dogs. Stars Tarantino, Tim Roth, Michael Madsen, Harvey Keitel, Steve Buscemi and Chris Penn. So many memorable scenes. You're gonna be okay, Mr. White. Yo, Mr. White. Yeah, Mr. Orange has been shot and he's in the back of the car. Harvey Keitel, Mr. White, is driving, trying to give him some encouragement. The doctor's gonna fix you up and you're gonna be okay. Say it. You're gonna be okay. Say it. It's now turned into like a meme of positivity when bad things happen. Brilliantly brutal scene. Another one is I Don't Tip. Steve Buscemi, Mr. Pink, scene about tipping waitresses in restaurants. Now in England we have different rules, but a lot of people I know give tips. In America it's frowned upon if you don't tip. Now before watching this again, I'm never the one to tip. I am Mr. Pink, the Steve Buscemi in the argument. I'll only tip if they go the extra mile, you know. Throw in a buck. No, I don't tip. I don't believe in it. I don't believe because society tells me to. You know, am I a bad person? I don't know. I am, actually, I am. And I'll tell you why. Mr. White says it exactly. Waitressing is the #1 occupation for female non-college graduates in this country. It's the one job any woman can get and make a living on. The reason is because of the tips. I didn't realise that until looking into it and actually listening to what I said, and it's, you know, I feel bad now. The Commode Story. You've got to be a great convincing actor be naturalistic, make an amusing anecdote about a drug deal, going to the toilet and there's 4 police officers and a German shepherd sniffing around. Now Mr. Orange has to tell this story to make a good impression, be part of the clique. You know, he's told what to say by his officer in the police force because he's undercover. Although it isn't true, it's a lie. Tarantino decides to show you what it would look like, and Tim Roth mouths the words and we see it happen before our eyes. It's really a nice directing way to do it. It's still intense, it's still a great scene despite it not being true. It's a superb scene. The opening scene, let me tell you what Like a Virgin is about. The big debate on the interpretations of the song by Madonna. Madonna, who was the main topic of the opening conversation, really liked the film but refuted Quentin Tarantino's interpretation of his song, Like a Virgin. She gave him a copy of her erotica album, signed to Quentin. It's not about dick, it's about love, Madonna. Love from Madonna. But what you can take from this dialogue is how impressive it is, how realistic it is, truly genius. They talk about what the song really means. That's not why it's good dialogue. Tarantino is just the master of it. Writing it is his speciality. It may be crude, but still a good scene. Right, here are your colours. Mr. Brown, Mr. White, Mr. Blonde, Mr. Blue, Mr. Orange, Mr. Pink. Oh, why am I Mr. Pink? Why can't we pick our own colours? Because it doesn't work. You end up with about 4 Mr. Blacks. I must admit, if I had to pick a colour, I'd be Mr. Black or Mr. White. My 2 favourite colours. It would be interesting what you pick for your code name. Steve Buscemi asks for purple but doesn't get it. I just love the idea of them having code names. It's just amazing. Really interesting concept. The botched diamond heist. Mexican standoff. Now this scene was heavily influenced from old westerns, like a western. The good, the bad, the ugly style. It's a standoff between good guy Eddie, his father and Mr. White, Harvey could tell. Every dog has its day. Tarantino loves this trope. He does it in Inglourious Bastards and Django Unchained. Ultra violence. You love it or you hate it. The slow motion walking scene, the coolest montage in cinema history. You have the 6 men in suits, shades, walking down in slow motion to Little Green Bag by the George Baker selection. My God. It was going to be Money by Pink Floyd, but Tarantino changed it after hearing Little Green Bag on the radio. I'm so glad they changed it. Although it is a good song by Pink Floyd. It's been parodied lots and lots, but you can't beat it. It's just untouchable. It's even in Swingers 1996, starring Vince Vaughn and Jon Favreau, a film I recently watched the other day. The big and best scene is without question the ear slicing scene. Mr. Blonde, Michael Madsen, tortures a police officer, Marvin Nash, when he's alone with him in a warehouse, the rendezvous. Nash denies knowledge of a setup. Blonde is uninterested and tortures Nash for his own amusement, severing his ear with a straight razor. Now, we don't see it, the camera pans away when he takes it off, so the audience has to imagine what's going on, how it feels. It's all left in their minds and the sounds pollute the ears. And of course he's dancing around to Stealers Wheels, Stuck in the Middle with You, a joyous song that's played over horrible scenes. Going to be a bit fancy here. It's called contrapuntal music for for them film buffs out there. Another thing is that 4 takes were improvised of Madsen chopping the fella's ear off. In one that made the final cut, the actor managed to up the ante by committing the heinous act, but then went one step further, proceeding to speak into the unattached ear. Once he had it in his hands, gruesome. Mr. Blonde, Michael Madsen's real name is Vic Vega. This is the same surname as Vince, John Travolta, from Quentin Tarantino's other film, Pulp Fiction, 1994. Tarantino has revealed that Vic and Vince are brothers. He also intended to do the prequel to both films called Double V, Vega, which would star the Vega brothers. But Madsen and Travolta eventually got too old to reprise their roles, and Tarantino has since abandoned it, which is such a shame. I'd love to see that film, the Double V Vega. Great. He had another acting credit as an asylum attendant in Eddie Presley, 1992. Sid in Sleep With Me, 1994, in which he expounds on the homoerotic subtext of Top Gun to Todd Field. He was a bartender in Somebody to Love before we got to Pulp Fiction, 1994. Pulp Fiction, 1994. Quentin Tarantino's second big feature film, but fourth altogether. 23 years old this year. The lives of two mob hitmen, a boxer, a gangster's wife, and a pair of diner bandits intertwine in four tales of violence and redemption. Known for its non-linear narrative, starting in the middle and going back and whatnot. Again, there's so many memorable scenes. Quentin Tarantino's scene. Now, Tarantino has the acting chops, as we know from his early days. The Jimmy situation, it's called. He plays Jimmy Dimmock. I don't need you to tell me how good my coffee is. They store the dead guy in his house. He gets really irate because of his wife, Bonnie, may come home at any time after work and get angry. You usually see Jimmy Dimmock, Tarantino's character, rocking his red robe with his white shirt peeking through, supping some coffee. We have Christopher Walken's scene, Captain Coons, the gold watch. Every time I see Christopher Walken, I have to picture him in Fatboy Slim's Weapons of Choice song. Bring out the gimp. Famous line from Peter Green, known for Dorian in The Mask. He says it to the ponytailed accomplice as they take out a gimp from a cage as Butch, Bruce Willis, and Marcellus Wallace, Ving Rhames, are tied up with gags and abused. Something bad is about to happen, we'll say, and Peter Green's character does eeny, meeny, miny, mo to determine who it will happen to first. The Simpsons did an episode built around Pulp Fiction in the same way. The Simpsons Pulpit Friction. 22 short films about Springfield. It was a TV episode in 2013. I love the episode as well. It's just so good. Shot to the head. Oh man, I shot Marvin in the face. Vince is talking about the TV show Cops. Jules is going to quit his job and Vince turns to Marvin, asking him a philosophical question about God's omnipotence, and points his gun at him whilst talking. The car goes over the bump and bang! He's dead. I shot Marvin in the face. Drug overdose scene, it's just so raw, and that's why it's so brutal. Don't die on me, Mia. We have Royale with cheese, the perfect way to write dialogue, masterclass from Tarantino, and it will only cost you £1.50 on eBay, which is just crazy to buy. They talk about the difference between France and America, essentially. They talk about Amsterdam, marijuana, Europe, movie theatre, beer drinking, the metric system. It's just so interesting. You want to be in the car with them. They're so cruel. You're rooting for the evil people, the anti-heroes. It's just mad, and you just want to be in the car with them. If you're interested in writing dialogue, particularly, I do urge you to check out the film or the film scripts. It's available on Google as well. Harvey Keitel, the wolf scenes in Pulp Fiction as well. Gotta love Harvey Keitel. Winston Wolf, he is the fixer, the cleaner who knew how to take care of Jules and Vincent's boneheaded mistakes. He was a model of efficiency under pressure, a no-nonsense performer who got the job done with style. He's a classy man. I even love his adverts in Direct Line Home Insurance. It's such a good idea. They use him in such a good way as well. That's not disrespectful to the film at all. And it's a little nice nod to Pulp Fiction. You got to love a man in a dicky belt. I think fast, I talk fast, and I need you guys to act fast if you want to get out of this. Pumpkin and Honey Bunny rob the restaurant. Everybody be cool, this is a robbery. Any of you fucking pricks move! And I'm going to execute every last fucking one of you. And she looks the part in the scene. Actually, she's quite scary. Honestly, she really is a menacing woman. It's a very quotable part of the movie. It's the hot opening act. And again, the music in this, there's a reason why I did my radio special on the film. The dance scene, Travolta and Uma Thurman. Oh, come on. They are a 50s diner, like Ed's Diner in Liverpool and Chester. Jack Rabbit Slim's Twist Contest. Incredible music from Chuck Berry, You Never Can Tell. I love that song so much. It's amazing dance moves, no shoes, serious but quirky, and we love it. I love it. I'm sure people have tried to reenact this scene. It's just so good. If I was ever to get married, this would have to be my first dance. I'd take my shoes off and everything would be great. Before the dance, there's another great scene where Uma Thurman, Mia, and Travolta, Vincent, are talking. Got a lot of great dialogue again. Best scene is the shootout. The shootout, Marcellus Wallace, Samuel L. Jackson, and John Travolta at their finest. Ezekiel 25:17, the path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who, in the name of charity and goodwill, shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness, for he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children.
And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee.
Apparently it's not even in the Bible, but my God, what a quote. By far the best and most remembered scene in Pulp Fiction. There's an awful lot I can't read out because, you know, what does Marcellus Wallace look like? Does he look like a bitch? And, you know, say what again? I dare you, I double dare you, motherfucker. Vincent Vega and Jules Winford are notorious hitmen in their black suits, you know. I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration? After he fires a gunshot, the whole scene is just perfect. Such a remarkable scene. We'll know for many, many, many years to come. It is number one, the best scene in Pulp Fiction. He did more acting credits in All American Girl TV series as Desmond in a pulp sitcom. See? 1995. In 1995, he did quite a lot of acting. He was in Four Rooms Chester, segment The Man from Hollywood. He was in Desperado as the pickup guy. He was in Destiny, Turns on the Radio, Johnny Destiny. He's also in SNL as well, which I'm sure you'll be able to find those easy. Bit different, he directed an episode of ER, the TV series, one episode called Motherhood in 1995. Drugs, speedballs, Clooney, lots of drama. The same year, Four Rooms, a 1995 American anthology comedy film directed by Allison Anders, Alexander Rockwell, Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino, each directing a segment of it that in its entirety is loosely based on the adult short fiction writings of Roald Dahl. Roald Dahl, wow. Every time I hear his name I just think of Tales of the Unexpected. The story is set in the fictional Hotel Monsignor in LA on New Year's Eve. Tim Roth plays Ted, the bellhop and main character in the frame story, whose first night on the job consists of 4 very different encounters with various hotel guests. Stars Quentin Tarantino, Tim Roth and Bruce Willis. He had another acting credit after ER and Four Rooms. He was in From Dusk Till Dawn as Richard Gecko. A lot of people think Tarantino directed this one, but Robert Rodriguez did. And like I mentioned, he did a special on From Dusk Till Dawn as well. It's the cast: Quentin Tarantino, Danny Trejo, Salma Hayek, George Clooney, Harvey Keitel, Juliette Lewis. Pussy Lovers, Outside the Titty Twister, the greatest bar in cinema history. Cheech Marin from Cheech and Chong is playing Carlos. You know, the escape to Mexico. Seth and his brother Richard Gecko, Tarantino, break in and threaten a rather wholesome family. An ex-vicar, Jacob, played by Harvey Keitel, his daughter and son, whilst they're staying in a motel. They manage to hijack their camper van and join the family to smuggle themselves through to the Mexico border. Very gripping scenes, very intense scenes. Essentially, they have to hide in the small, cramped toilet while the police officers search the camper van. It does give you goosebumps every time you watch it. The penis gun, oh, you gotta love the penis gun. Tom Savini, aka Sex Machine, has a flap on his trousers, and it comes down, and he has a gun where Also features in Desperado, apparently, as well. Quentin Tarantino turns vamp. Now, lots of people turn vamp in this film, pretty much everyone, but there's something about Richard Gecko turning vampire that's powerful. You know, A, it's Quentin Tarantino, but B, he's going to do lally through the course of the movie in his head. It's just shocking. And the part with Seth's brother is really sad. You know, it's called Richie Rises, and Seth says, "I love you," and Quentin turns full vamp. Richard Gecko turns full vamp. But Richie's strong, and he starts knocking everyone around. But I love the idea of Seth still being protective over his brother, even when he's a vampire. It's really a nice kind of scene. He gets held down, and he drives a stake right through his heart. My only problem with the part is the special effects change drastically over the course of like 30 seconds. But I just chalk this down to him being a vampire, and he's a bit of a shapeshifter, so he can change appearance. That's what I've put it down to. Vampire Band, Salma Hayek's performance, her seductive snake dance performance. She walks hypnotically over to Richie as the song After Dark is played by the great band Tito and Tarantula. She pours wine down her leg onto her foot and into Quentin's mouth. She turns into the queen of the vampires. The twist. You gotta love the twist. The genre bending, the huge genre switch they have from a crime thriller to a vampire horror flick. I love it. You just don't see it coming. I love watching it with people as well. I love the vampire showdowns, the use of holy water, the weapons, the characters. It's just a great movie. Not just a vampire film, it's just a great movie all in all. By the way, if you do love vampires, as much as I do, I love them to bits. I've made a video where we look at the whole history of the vampire movie from start to 2017. And it's available through my Facebook page, facebook.com/Richard Al's Radio Show, or Twitter @AlsRichard. And you can hit me a message and I'll happily send you it if you're a bit lost as well. It was really fun to make, and it's called Evolution of the Vampire Movie. It's on this channel as well. Okay, ramblers, let's get rambling. The hole in the hand, the drill gun. Everyone be cool. You be cool. One of the coolest quotes in movie history and my favourite part of the film. We're actually at the very beginning of the movie. A cop is talking to a clerk. The cop goes into the bathroom. The two criminals, the Gecko brothers, walk over to the clerk with their hostages and explain to the clerk if he gives any signal to the cop, then he will die. Things get leery, tensions are high, until George Clooney, Seth Gecko, cuts the tension with the coolest line ever spoke in film, delivered perfectly with his smooth, rich voice. Everyone be cool. You be cool. Holding the gun up to the clerk's face. Seth Gecko's neck tattoo made me want to get tattoos. This neck tattoo, it just looks so awesome. This line always makes me pay attention, just gives me that thrill ride, and just proper wakes me up. Wonderful, wonderful film. Jackie Brown, 1997. A middle-aged woman finds herself in the middle of a huge conflict that will either make her a profit or cost her her life. Pam Grier, Samuel Jackson, Robert De Niro, Robert Forster, who you should know from Me, Myself and Irene, Michael Keaton, we have Chris Tucker, Devil's Rejects, Sid Haig, Friday's Tommy Lister. It's a big A-list cast. Actually, a Christmas movie, if you want to get down to the nitty-gritty of it. Movie adapted from the novel by Elmore Leonard called Rum Punch. Great soundtrack. I need to do a special on this movie as well. Bill Withers, Johnny Cash, Foxy Brown, the Delphonics. We all know how good Tarantino is with music, how he incorporates it so perfectly with his films. And it's an underrated film, not as well known as others. Samuel Jackson has long hair. Just look at its gloriousness. It was Samuel Jackson's idea to give the character long hair and a braided goatee. People always remember the get in the trunk scene. It's a great idea with the shotgun. The relationship between De Niro and Bridget Fonda and the chicks with guns. We have so many fantastic scenes in this quality film. Quentin Tarantino met Robert Forster in a restaurant and handed him the script saying, "You're going to do this." And that's all there is to it. Forster was naturally thrilled, having had a major career slump. This film saw him come back in a big, big way, even landing an Oscar nomination. Tarantino's first and only film, as of 2016, to be adapted from a pre-existing material rather than his own. In the novel Jackie Brown, originally Jackie Burke, he's white. Quentin Tarantino changed her race solely for the purpose of getting to work with Pam Grier. He had another acting credit. 3 years after Jackie Brown, he was a crazed deacon in Little Nicky in 2000. A lot of people don't really like the movie, but I really, really enjoy it. And yeah, he's just so crazy. You'd never think it was Quentin Tarantino. Not for a second. He was McKennis Cole in Alias TV series. Cole first appears in Season 1, episodes The Box, Part 1 and Part 2. He and a group of agents infiltrate the SD6 office in LA and take the entire cell hostage. I think he makes another appearance as well in Season 3. The year, 2003. Kill Bill Part 1. Revenge is a dish best served cold. Move your big toe. Uma Thurman in the back of the pussy wagon. Now, it should come to no surprise that Quentin Tarantino has a big thing for feet, as we mentioned so far. And you can tell in this scene, you can also tell in the band 5, 6, 7, 8, their bare feet as they're performing, but that may be just their thing. This scene is also important because she's been in a coma for 4 years, so she's lost the ability to walk, so she has to crawl and use a wheelchair to get into the big yellow wagon. She gets in and tries to wiggle her toe in order to be able to actually move where she wants to go and kill people on her death list. Short and sweet one, you know. But picking the Japanese steel, I used to have a samurai sword. It was in my basement of my old house. It was a little tatty, but it still got people amazed when they saw it. It was so brilliant. I texted my best friend who informed me it was actually an old Indian naval dress sword, not a samurai sword. So I was like, oh, I was really upset. I was like, damn. On that bombshell, the bride tells Hattori Hanzo, the swordsmith, she wants it for free because she wants to kill Bill with it. We have the hospital scenes. The bride bites the tongue right off Jonathan's character and waits for the doctor to come back in and hides on the floor and slices his ankle open when he comes through the door. It's so nasty. The bride is still alive scenes. A woman in a wedding dress, the bride, lies wounded in a chapel in El Paso, having been attacked by the deadly Viper assassination squad. She is shot in the head. Oh, she's still alive. Because she's just awesome. As we know from Kill Bill 2, she gets in much, much worse states. I just love the fact that she won't be beaten. Another fantastic line. I said before, I've allowed you to keep your wicked life for 2 reasons. And the second reason is so you can tell him in person everything that happened here tonight. I want him to witness the extent of my mercy by witnessing your deformed body. I want you to tell him all the information you just told me. I want him to know what I know. I want him to know. I want him to know. I want them all to know. They'll all soon be as dead as Oren. I remember hearing this for the first time and just being blown away totally by it. I was only 13 when it came out as well, and still has effect on me now 13 years later. The big anime scene. We have that terrific anime scene. Now, the reason it's so high on this list is because of how good the animation and the storytelling is. It's so good. What can I say about the animation? Well, it's captivating, gory, and fast-paced. Just what you need in storytelling. The first kill we see, the fight between the bride and Venita Green. The bride pulls up at Venita's place, parks a yellow wagon, and knocks on the door. That music, that famous music starts to play. The screen goes red. A fight ensues. They're knocking the hell out of each other, like the best of them, until a big American school bus, big American yellow school bus, pulls up outside, and a child gets off. It's Venita Green's child, who comes in and sees the two fighting. The women stop and put their knives behind their backs and greet the child with blood on their face and torn clothing. You know, the house is smashed up to bits. She goes upstairs while the bride and Venita have coffee together. It isn't all happy and roses because Venita tries to shoot Uma Thurman, the bride, through a box of cereal until she flings a knife right at her heart. The camera pans in and the wee child is standing there watching her mother's life fade away. I always thought they should have made a Kill Bill 3 with the wee girl trying to find the bride to kill her for killing her mother. Obviously, being older, wouldn't know how it would work, but I want to know your opinion on that, actually. Let me know what you think below. If they should have made a Kill Bill 3 with Benita Green's child coming after Uma Thurman. It's sofa gripping scenes, you know, it's so intense and awesome. If anyone has something to say, now is the time. We have Orenishi's speech.
If you're unconvinced a particular plan of action I've decided is the wisest, tell me so. But allow me to convince you, and I promise you right here and now, no subject will ever be taboo. Except, of course, the subject that was just under discussion. The price you pay for bringing up either my Chinese or American heritage as a negative is, I collect your fucking head. Just like this fucker here. Got anything else to say? Now's the fucking time!
It's a powerful scene. You don't want to mess with this lady. You do not want to mess with her. You've already found out how crazy she is through the anime story, but this is just raw and just so good. We have that big fight scene. Holy hell. wow, the bride is trying to get to Onishi to kill her. We've had the band play and she's just chopped the arm off of Sophie. Blood is everywhere. She orders her minions to kill the bride. She doesn't back down that easy. She uses her samurai to wound and kill all her minions. Their bodies are just everywhere. She orders a ton, and I mean a ton, more minions to come in and burst in. She kills and wounds all them too. But this scene is spectacular. The scene adheres to the Japanese movies Quentin has watched. South Korean movie Old Boy was released the same year as well, which is a bit of a weird coincidence. And that's a fantastic film too. A year later we got a sequel, Kill Bill 2. Added cast was Samuel Jackson. I always remember feeling so claustrophobic when picturing the bride being buried alive, punching furiously at the top of the coffin. The bride continues her quest of vengeance against her former boss and lover Bill, the reclusive bouncer Bud, and the treacherous one-eyed Ellie. It's a great sequel. Kill Bill 1 is such a hard one to beat, as well. Robert Rodriguez scored this movie for $1. Quentin Tarantino said he would repay him by directing a segment of Rodriguez's project Sin City 2005 for $1. But we have to talk about the music in both Kill Bill 1 and 2. Both impeccable. My favourite has to be Battle Without Honor or Humanity by Tomiyasu Hotei, which you should definitely check out on YouTube. Like I said, he did direct a segment of Rodriguez's project Sin City, guest director, directing the scene involving Dwight, Clive Owen, and Jackie Boy, Benicio del Toro, in front of the car before Dwight is pulled over by the police officer. Benicio del Toro is not related to Guillermo del Toro, by the way, as well. I had to Google her. Benicio del Toro and Guillermo del Toro. Nope, they're not related. Yeah, another acting credit in Duck Dodgers, the TV series, as Master Moloch, Master and Disaster, all in the Crime Family, 2005. The Muppets, Wizard of Oz as Kermit's director. He did a 2-part special for CSI Crime Scene Investigation the same year, 2005, called Grave Danger. It was the 5th season finale. He stayed true to the show and added his little spark to it. 2007, Grindhouse segment Death Proof, a film directed by both Tarantino and Rodriguez. You can just tell they get on so well. Rodriguez's Planet Terror and Tarantino's is Death Proof. Death Proof focuses on a misogynistic, psychopathic stuntman who targets young women, murdering them with his death-proof stunt car. Each feature is preceded by faux trailers of exploitation films in other genres that were developed by other directors. In an interview with Newsweek, Quentin Tarantino stated he came up with the idea of Death Proof 2007 when he was talking to a friend about buying a car. Tarantino wanted to buy a Volvo because he didn't want to die in some auto accident like the one in Pulp Fiction. In regards to the safety of the car, his friend had said, well, you could take any car and give it to a stunt team, and for the $10,000 to $15,000, they can death-proof it for you. The death-proof phrase has stuck to Tarantino after that. The cast in this, Charmed, Rose McGowan, Kurt Russell, Danny Trejo, Eli Roth, Zoe Bell, Bruce Willis, Josh Brolin. Other directors who added to the pot was Rob Zombie with his trailer Werewolf Women of the SS. 2 separate sets of voluptuous women are stalked at different times by a scarred stuntman who uses his death-proof car to execute his murderous plans. He was a rapist and a zombie eating roadkill in Planet Terror 2007, and he was in Diary of the Dead as a newsreader. His voice is uncredited for that role. In 2007 again, he was Sukiyaki Western Django as Purengo. Took another 2 years before another hard hitter. He knocked it out the park with Inglourious Bastards. Big heavy cast: Brad Pitt, Christopher Waltz's Oscar-winning performance, Diane Kruger, Eli Roth, Michael Fassbender, Mike Myers. Yep, Mike Myers is in it too. That opening is just so intense, so gripping, so heart-pounding. So many memorable scenes in this one too. We have the bear Jew with Eli Roth, the game scene with the cards on their heads. One is King Kong. Funny enough, we should mention King Kong. I made a video called The Evolution of the King Kong Movie, so check that on my page as well. We have the big shooter at the end. We have the Nazi hunting brilliance. In Nazi-occupied France during World War II, a plan to assassinate Nazi leaders by a group of Jewish US soldiers coincides with the theatre owner's vengeful plans for the same. Quentin Tarantino worked on the script for almost a decade. At the end of each take, actors would face the camera and say, "Hello, Sally," referring to Sally Menke, the film's editor. Roughly only 13% of the film is spoken in English. The language which dominates the film is either French or German, with a little Italian. This is highly unusual for a Hollywood production, and I love it. It's like a foreign film wrapped up in a Hollywood film. Kill Bill: The Whole Bloody Affair, 2011, put Volume 1 and 2 combined. Django Unchained, 2012, because I love the film theory stuff. The first thing that pops into my head is Leonardo DiCaprio, Calvin Candle, at the table. He smashes the glass and cuts himself completely unscripted. The blood, everything, and he's stuck with it. He stayed in character like you would expect, and even helped the scene by making it so more gruesome by smearing the blood all over Broomhindler's face. He should have won an Oscar for this performance. He really, really should have. I promise you, he should have. I'd even put this ahead of The Revenant as well, in regards to Oscar winning. We have the stupid KKK scenes, the shootout ending, which Tarantino loves. It's his trope. It's such a cool movie. Quentin Tarantino's cameo, we gotta love it. He even does an accent change as well, I think, and as a cameo. The deaths are gruesome, just what you expect. It's a regular cast which you expect to be in a Quentin Tarantino movie, with added Leonardo DiCaprio, Jamie Foxx, Walton Goggins and Jonah Hill. During the filming of one of the dinner scenes, Leonardo DiCaprio had to stop the scene because he was having a difficult time using so many racial slurs. Samuel Jackson then pulled him aside, telling him, "Motherfucker, this is just another Tuesday for us." In an interview, Quentin Tarantino stated that originally the Mandango fight scene and the scene with the dogs were longer and much more violent. He said he felt like he was going to traumatise the audience, so he cut both scenes down. In 2014, he had another acting credit in She's Funny That Way as Quentin Tarantino. It was an American screwball comedy film, and he has a cheeky cameo in that. Tarantino loved bounty hunters and westerns so much, he did his next project, The Hateful Eight, 2015. It's strange how far away that seems. It's his 8th film by Quentin. In the dead of a Wyoming winter, a bounty hunter and his prisoner find shelter in a cabin currently inhabited by a collection of nefarious characters. Samuel L. Jackson is 1, the bounty hunter. Kurt Russell is 2, the hangman. Bruce Dern is 3, the Confederate. Walton Goggins is 4, the sheriff. Damian Bichir is 5, the Mexican. Tim Roth is 6, the little man. Michael Madsen is 7, the cowpuncher. Jennifer Jason Leigh is 8, the prisoner. At one point, Michael Madsen's character says, "A bastard's work is never done," which was the tagline on the poster for Inglourious Basterds 2009. According to Quentin Tarantino, this film was his metaphoric way of breaking down his feelings about The Thing, released 1982, i.e. the way he felt watching it for the first time in a movie theatre. There's many references in this film to the Petrified Forest in 1936. In an interview with Christopher Nolan, Quentin Tarantino named the Petrified Forest as inspiration for this movie. Another one is Citizen Kane, released 1941, as Marquise Warren shows a letter from Abraham Lincoln and a big ray of light falls on it. And Then There Were None, 1945, acknowledged as an influence in an interview with Tarantino. 8 Iron Men, 1952. The title is designed to look like the title from 8 Iron Men. Gunsmoke, 1955, the TV series. Character Marquise Warren is a reference to the writer Charles Marquise Warren. The Searchers, 1956, John Ruth utters, "That'll be the day," which is John Wayne's character's catchphrase in The Searchers. Lots of references. I love finding out movie references to each other. It's really great. And Gunsmoke, released 1955, will always remind me of The Twilight Zone, weirdly enough, because they think they came on at the same time, or one after each other. But Quentin Tarantino had humble beginnings with his earlier stuff, which has progressed and evolved into the mainstream, and he's got these big blockbuster movies now with all the solid A-list cast which are backing him, and it's just so nice to see, because he did start off from very early days, and as you know, he's always wanted to be a part of his film by acting in his films. He likes the idea of acting as well, by featuring in things which, you know, they're not necessarily put down to him. So I have to respect him, not just only as a fantastic, phenomenal scriptwriter, but also an actor as well. He is an actor, and I just can't wait to watch more of his movies which come out, because we're still in the early days yet. He's still got many more years on him, and he's still got many more films yet to come. Thank you, Quentin Tarantino, for all your amazing work over the years. And the final things I wanted to say was I'll be doing an almighty Quentin Tarantino special on my radio show soon. It's going to be a Wednesday, 4 to 6 p.m. It's going to be a massive 2-hour special of just Quentin Tarantino's movies music, and we're going to play all the best music you can possibly think of. It's going to be such a hoot. So please, if you are a fan, be sure to like my Facebook page or follow me on Twitter to find out when this will be, because it'll keep you posted and it'll keep you up to date with it. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to talk everything Quentin Tarantino, and we even have a little interview from him as well. So it's just going to be so much fun. So gotta be there. And yeah, feel free to keep up to date with my radio shows, movie specials, and next videos by liking my Facebook page or follow me on Twitter. All the information is below this video to catch you up, and just be sure to join me on my Quentin Tarantino special soon. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate every single view I get. Thank you so much.